6 chords to talk about, which we will talk about. And then we've got some more modes of chromatic modulation. I'm working on that last activity sheet. I should have that ready to post on Blackboard after the weekend, so. Somehow it feels like the time just slipped away.
Yeah, it really does. I'm always so surprised.
Well, this in particular with this challenge that we've had, it just seems like it has raced by.
Oh, yeah.
And the book has a lot of material in it. There are just, I'm trying to just cover the basic harmonic things. And I can't worry about all those chapters on form and which, not when you're meeting face-to-face one day a week, sorry.
Yeah.
Hello, Wednesday people, by the way. Did you hear me griping about that?
By the way, does any of you know when spring break is?
Too late.
It's late in April.
It's the middle of April.
Middle of April?
We go to spring break and then we have 2 weeks and then it's finals.
Okay, so those 2 weeks are probably gonna be online.
Yes, they
Yeah.
will. It's gonna be,
It will.
Okay.
it's gonna be the same
I just
pattern.
heard about it today, so I was like, what? Oh, and by the way, seats, make sure you log in for your seats.
Girl, you're so right.
Yeah, no, they've changed, let's see, I've got it here on my phone.
Yeah, I just found out. I think
Wow.
it's middle or late April.
Yeah, I'll check.
Even though you're gonna go back.
So we'll have to do the same thing that we're doing this time.
Yeah, we will have to.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to figure out a way to fail you so that I can have you next year.
Oh, no. I didn't think about that.
So when your admission to Candace pops up, I'll just say, no, can't do it.
You're the one recommending me for these programs, too.
I know, I'm just kidding.
I know.
It's like it's an herbal thing, it's not melatonin, but I
Let's
found
see,
this stuff that works
let's
really well, and
get
I'm
to,
skeleton, pulsatile, and
Oh, Devin knows. It is April 12th through 16th.
Well, I'm gonna just see if that's what I have.
I'll check it out.
I will.
Yes,
take a picture of
12th
it.
through 16th.
Okay. Yeah.
It's absolutely right. And then we're remote course delivery the rest of the semester. So it'll be just like this.
I would be drowsy and I'd be like.
I think it's, they had to do this because they couldn't figure out how to
Yeah,
send
I
people
had that
away.
same problem, like
And then have 2 weeks of,
I can fall
Of
asleep, but I
like
can't stay asleep.
quarantine or whatever,
Yeah.
people came back positive.
oh, well, that just means that we won't have the same spring break as anyone else.
Bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's why.
At least they're thinking about that, cause I also have to think about my recital in terms of that, and the oral exams and stuff. So, now it's gonna have to.
Well, your oral exams will be done Zoom.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I keep hearing so many different things in faculty meeting about the recitals. The latest was that they would let a few audience members in, but, whether that can also be done, electronically, I would hate to.
I've been told that I only can have 2 people
Like my mattress is like.
at my recital.
Well, you can have 2 people plus your faculty
Well, I was
committee.
like
Yes.
researching, cause I
So
was,
that
I've
would
had
be
trouble
5.
sleeping a
Yeah.
lot lately.
Mhm.
So I was researching
At least
all
there's
different
that.
things that could help, and I was reading like, I mean, the obvious
Oh,
things
my
like don't look
goodness,
at your
what a
screen
time
like half
we're
an hour
in.
before
Mhm.
you go to
And the
bed,
numbers are
make
just
sure you
still
eat well.
terrible in the state of Idaho.
Try taking a
And
warm
we're not
shower
the
or
worst.
warm bath.
No, we're not.
Tea helps, like chamomile tea or something like that, but also like your mattress, and also you can be too warm when you're sleeping and that might wake you up. That's why
Yeah.
I got rid of my microfiber comforter, and I just got the other class can hear me too. This is being recorded. It's being recorded. This is important. Listen. A cotton comforter can help you sleep better because then you don't get too warm.
We're having a testimony here against microfiber comforters and an advocate for cotton.
Uh-huh.
I think I tend to agree with you
Mhm.
in my own experience, but the older I get, the colder I feel at night, so I'm putting extra layers on my side.
Extra layers are totally fine.
My wife doesn't have, for some reason, she's not experiencing the same thing, so I'm requiring more layers than she is, so whatever.
My parents have a bed that's like split down the middle so they can control the like temperature and like raise it, like that kind of bed. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, cool.
That's
Well,
high
we,
tech, thousands
our,
of dollars.
our base
Yeah.
is split down the middle so that the
Yeah.
two sides, but it isn't a different temperature.
Really?
No,
Wow.
I remember seeing ads for those, I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, because my dad snores so loud and my mom is like, I just can't. It's fun. You can like sit it all the way up so that it's like this in the bed.
Oh, so you don't even have to move, you're just like.
Yeah. I'm like, dang.
Does that help snoring?
Well, if you're like laying like that, it's like, what is it? It's not, is it sleep apnea? That,
Sleep apnea is when you stop breathing.
yeah, my dad has that, so he has to like sit up.
Apnea.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one.
apnea. Well, I don't snore, but my wife does, so. But I can tell you about this awful procedure that I had to make me not snore, but I'm not sure that would be something delightful to you. Hello?
Some Neapolitan 6 chords.
Okay, I think are you getting there?
I'm getting there, yeah, it'll be done by the time we get to me.
All right, so let's start over in this corner with number 1. This is an example, a part writing example that's in F major. We're given the first couple of chords. And then we're asked for a Neapolitan, the figured bass tells us flat 6, flat 3, so that's going to be above the B flat. It's going to turn us into a Neapolitan chord, so that's what we've got here. Good. And then a diminished 7. Oh, sorry, I got an extra E flat in there. Yeah, I think that's lovely. Whose is that? Yours? Well done.
Thank you.
Ellie, have you taken a shot of that for our Wednesday people?
I'm gonna put it up very soon.
Okay, and let's see, do we have any more versions of that? So now we've got number 2.
I can put one of those up.
If you want to, I just don't want you to miss the discussion at this point, so.
Okay.
But thank you for volunteering. So we've now got an example in B minor. And we did not have anything given to us except the bass line and the figured bass. So 4, 6, that looks good. And this one, what is the chord that, whose is this?
It's mine.
Okay, come, bring your marker and come back over, because I think we got a couple of things to adjust. It's the 3rd chord in the first bar. What is it?
Oh, it's supposed to be a 5, 6?
No. It's a D major chord is what you spelled, so in
Oh,
B
3, 6.
minor, that would be 3, right?
Yeah.
All right, so. Yeah, let's try. I think that looks good, so now I think we've got all the details, right? Very good. And let's look now at the green example. So we've got 4, 6. Now, here I am a little perplexed by the A sharp. in that chord.
Well, don't you still need the leading tone, it's in minor?
Well, it's not in the key signature, so it would have to be added. But what that really does is give us an augmented triad. And I think we can work just fine with the A natural, because look what happens if you have A sharp and then you go to C natural in the soprano, you got a diminished third. I think you're okay on those. Oh, I see what you do. Okay, so let's see. There's the Neapolitan sixth and do you know, I guess I would really think that in that final cadence, coming down might be better. Yeah, put the soprano on A sharp and the tenor on, and let's double the C sharp in that chord. So that's A sharp, and then so that we don't have parallel octaves, let's put the tenor on C sharp, and we'll double the C sharp in there. Okay, so let's look that through again. Yeah, that's good. Very good. All right, now I've got to really
Sorry, everyone like is far away.
Yeah. Let's see if I can, this is G minor. Whoops, oh, I have it on. Is that a B flat or a B natural?
On the third measure?
Uh-huh.
B flat.
Our Neapolitan sixth, coming into a diminished seventh. Yeah, I think that's pretty well
It was just a
done.
courtesy remarking since you had the B natural in measure before.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm just, between my bifocals and the waviness of this shield, I'm just struggling to see. Okay, so let's look up here now. Can you go up there? I have a curiosity. I mean, I'm a little curious here. Why you just didn't come down and just double the G between soprano and alto, and then go back up? Why you happen to take your soprano up to D? Here's what you have. It's all right. I'm not going to argue with you, but it seems if you look how the soprano line went on the backboard, I just think that that's a little more. What's our principle that we're always trying to follow?
Singability.
Singability, but specifically in this case,
The strength of the key, the strength of the chord.
well, doubling, what about direction of the soprano and bass?
Oh, contrary.
Contrary motion, and I think that usually turns us to a stronger. So we're coming up, and then you went up in the soprano to instead of in. But let's keep going. Back to flat sixth, and then we've got this secondary dominant. A 7 in first inversion, back to 4. So if you watched carefully our class session, you picked up on the little passing note trick to help, and it's just something, you know, you got to just keep it out there like one of your tools as you're dealing with Neapolitan and voice leading. It'll just help you avoid those augmented thirds. Wait a minute, am I talking about thirds? Yes, diminished thirds, sorry. Yeah, which, you know, that's not gonna be, the singability is not gonna be high if you have diminished thirds in your voice line, so. Okay. I think that's good. I'm pleased. Everybody feeling? And you understand what the Neapolitan is now and how to use it in context. Is there any question that any of you have from trying to read the textbook and get that explanation? It's just such a simple thing to think about the Neapolitan, because all it is a major triad, just a half step above the tonic triad. And then normally it is seen in first inversion, which is what we've seen in these examples. So I brought, and if you watched, you saw that I brought these the other day, but we've been talking a lot about, you know, my displeasure with the textbook, and I brought the ones that I like better. These are two different versions of the Benjamin Horvath Nelson, which these are the books that coordinate directly with the anthology. This one adds a new author, Timothy Cousin, and I'm suspecting that Cousin may be a contributor in mainly the post-tonal 20th century kind of stuff that's in the book. They're both 7th editions. This is just a 7th, they call this an enhanced 7th edition. But so this right here is the most current edition. And luckily, I did not have to buy this to find it. I finally found it at the bottom of a pile of stuff in my office. This one I did buy again on eBay, and I only paid a little bit for it. So this is just the 7th edition. So if you're interested in having this on your shelf, it shouldn't be too costly for you to go out on eBay and find it, yes.
Can I ask how much it was?
Well, I'm thinking it was like about $20.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So it was really affordable. And mine, I think, I mean, I can't tell that mine isn't a brand new
It's used.
book. You know, it wasn't I think it maybe was in the used category, but mine, it seems perfectly brand new, and it had a plastic wrap on it when I opened it. So now let me just tell you the place of this book and how it's helpful. I think this book does not stand well independently. It stands in its best light when it's side by side with the anthology. You've got the anthology, which gives you all of these musical examples, and they're all organized into chapters where the topic, the harmonic device that we're thinking about is spelled out. And then you can go, and that order pretty much coordinates with this book, so you can look at those, you can go to this and almost treat it like a handbook. I'll tell you, this was being used when I first got here. Let's just give you an example, a look at this page. I think the reason that it was rejected, and that I believe this is the point where we went to the Kafka Payne book, there was a feeling that there wasn't enough verbal explanation in the book. And you can see how it really concentrates on the musical examples. And so that's probably why I like that, is because that's kind of the way I was taught. You'll remember I told you my chromatic harmony textbook was the Brahms piano pieces all those years. I mean, I didn't even have a theory book per se at the University of Utah, except this one, which has its own goofy things. Just to show you, I'll find a page that's good. In fact, let's turn, this is the Piston, Walter Piston. Let's turn to Neapolitan sixth chords, which is on 288. So you'll see, let's see, is this going to be a good example? Okay, so here we go. The middle example here is the Moonlight Sonata of Beethoven. And so that piece is in C sharp minor. But look what we've got here. We've got a major 1. Capital Roman numeral when that comes along. And that, for some reason, and we were speculating that maybe it was a European thing or something, and Dr. Alexander and I were talking. I guess we have a student now who's in one of his courses, and her training was all outside the country, and so this is more familiar to her. So we just have different systems, but everything in Piston was capital Roman numerals, whether it was major, minor, diminished, whatever. Everything is capital Roman numerals. And so for me, having had a whole year of the system basically minus the 564 that we're using now, this was an adjustment for me. So my sophomore year, let me tell you, it was interesting. It was a quarter system, 3 different quarters, and I had this for the first quarter. I had Brahms piano pieces for the second quarter, and it's been so long now that I think we just had an anthology, a 20th century anthology for the third quarter, which was 20th century music. So lots of different ways to approach theory pedagogy. Yes, sir.
Is there any, even in that book or any of the other two books that explain something in a better way?
I think that when I look, the augmented sixth is the next chapter, and I think the explanation of the augmented sixth chord is really good here. You can see what it does right here. What it does is it takes the interval of the augmented sixth and shows how it resolves out to the dominant. And that is, as you're maybe even reading ahead a little bit and thinking about, that is the foundational concept with augmented sixth chords. In fact, I can throw out a challenge. I didn't throw this out. I'll throw this out to you Wednesday people too. When I was, I guess it was my sophomore year, I was told that according to Richard Wagner, that it didn't matter. The augmented sixth chord was the augmented sixth was the crucial interval. You could resolve out to the dominant, but it didn't matter what else was in the middle of an augmented sixth chord. Now, I have never been able to put chapter and verse on that. I remember distinctly being told that. So if there's anybody with your superb research expertise, now all of your internet and all the sources you have, if you can find somewhere evidence that Wagner really said that, I don't know, I'll reward you with a whole gold star box full of whatever your choice of the candy is. If you come up with that for me, I will be eternally grateful, because I have not all these years been able to find that. But again, I'm not God's gift to internet searches either. I do my best, but you know, I'm a dinosaur from the, you know, the card catalog age, and 3x5 index cards for finding sources on stuff. And when I did my bibliography coursework at BYU, I basically had to give up practicing that semester and just live in the library. And I mean, I had a really long 3x5 catalog file, and boy, let me tell you, I filled every card. And it was a major endeavor to type all those up, and of course that was pre-computer too, so I was typewriter. And you haven't lived until you've done a thesis or a dissertation on the typewriter, where if you have to make a correction, you usually end up retyping 20 pages because all your, you know, your spacing and everything. So you live in a blessed era that you can do all of that with the computer. And I realized what a blessed era you live in when I taught graduate piano literature a few years ago. And it was just like being in a candy store, having all these references so easily at your fingertip, plus your smartphone where you could put in the name of a piece and the composer, and almost within seconds you could pull up a YouTube where you could hear it. That certainly beats my life in the listening lab with scratchy records. So it's a two-edged sword in a way. You can slice and dice like crazy in your acquisition of knowledge, but it does also make you responsible for more information. So it's a mixed blessing. Yes, ma'am.
Can you say again what you want us to find evidence of? Because I'm gonna try.
Okay, I want you to find evidence that Wagner actually said that in an augmented sixth chord, it's only the outer two notes that matter, and it doesn't matter what's in the interior. See, we've got all these varieties that we have here. We've got Italian, French, German, and we'll be seeing this very easily next week. And if you're reading ahead a little bit, you'll know what I'm talking about already. Okay, our time is flying, so let's get into the anthology and look at the musical examples today. Now, the next time I see you, which will be Friday the 13th, you got 27.5. Just looking here. And this has chord, Roman numeral 3. We'll do the chord spelling part of it on Wednesday. But Roman numeral 3 has, looks to me like 4 plus 6. It has 10 part writing examples. So I would just say, don't leave that to the 11th hour, or you'll be up all night. So make sure you take a look at that a little bit in a timely manner. All right, in the anthology today, we are on example number 263 to begin with. All right. If I'm remembering, it's a Chopin prelude. Ah, yes. Okay. This is a great one. Familiar probably to many of you, but let's just see what we turn up here. you'll see we do have an augmented sixth chord along the way here, and they've given it to you because in coordinating this anthology with the textbook I just showed you, this is a chapter ahead of augmented sixth chords don't show up till the next chapter. So, if we think about Neapolitan triad, what is the Neapolitan triad in C minor? Yes.
C sharp,
C sharp or,
D flat.
yeah, because we're thinking second scale degree,
Yes.
flatted second, so we think in D flat. So let's look, in the first line, we have a D flat chord there, don't we? But the question of the moment, is that serving as a Neapolitan? Neapolitan usually resolves to what? Five, yeah, it goes to dominant because it's in our harmonic region of preparation. So does this go to the dominant? It goes to a dominant, but not the dominant of C minor. It goes to the dominant of Say that again. No, I think you might be on the right track.
C major.
Not C major. It's
Oh, no.
A flat major. Listen to the little sequence we got here. So it's a layer, a little layer in A flat, and then we're back in C minor. Now let's look. Where is the next D flat chord that we find in the piece?
Or I guess the fourth measure of the second line.
Yes, that is correct. So, and here we have an A flat chord going to D flat, and then to 5 in C. So I don't know if we can make my choreography work here, but we go, I'll play the last two bars. This time it is Neapolitan, unusually placed though in root position, not in first inversion. And then since the next line is harmonically identical, we find it in the same spot in the next line. Everybody with me on that? Wednesday people, did you follow that? Okay, let's take a look next at let's do 265. I love this. Okay, so what key do we start in here? A, got the key signature for A major. And so if we're trying to stay tuned and stay alert to a Neapolitan chord, what chord are we looking for?
B flat.
A B flat chord. We do indeed get it, don't we? The end of the line. Let's listen again. Can you hear that same? The Neapolitan as a chromatic harmony is the only harmony that doesn't push us forward. It kind of, just holds us back. Can you hear that effect there? And now let's do our normal little thing. Let's double check, since this is a song, let's double check the text, at the point that we have the Neapolitan chord. So, as melodies drift lightly through my senses, as spring flowers bloom and their fragrance floats away, lightly through my eyes, light. So I think that means that there it is, that's the drifting lightly through my senses. So it's not pushing hard. So it kind of paints that text. Nice, okay. Let's see. Well, this is,
I have a question about that one. So what if that one, does that one, resolve to another, it's not the dominant of the key?
no, it doesn't, it just goes back to the tonic.
Oh, okay. That's what I was wondering about.
Yeah,
Is
no,
that's
it
how
just
I-
goes to the tonic, yes.
But that's not super common.
No, but it's lovely.
Okay.
But thank you, that's.
I thought maybe I wasn't.
No, that's a very good point. The point she asked is that isn't resolving to the dominant, that is resolving back to the tonic. And so it's, it happens, and there is an example. Let me see if I can do the score reading for this Beethoven quartet. It's just a few bars. So this is D major, right? All right, you viola players, let's see. So that's D, that is. That's gonna be B, so. Do we actually have a Neapolitan in there?
I didn't hear one, to be honest.
I think that they've tried to pull a fast one on us here. Cause a Neapolitan in D major would have to be E flat. I don't see anything like that. So you can, if you ever loan your textbook to someone in the future, you can say, not a good example. No Neapolitan, what gives? So I'm not sure about that. What I'm kind of suspecting is that maybe there was another, yes,
So can I ask a question about 265? Or do we already, can I ask a question about 265?
yes,
Okay, so in 265, in measure 6, it's like the second measure of the bottom line.
Mhm.
There's an A sharp and an A natural, which I think is super weird.
an A sharp.
Yeah,
Where is the A sharp?
it's in the bottom, on the top line of the piano part.
Isn't that an F sharp?
Am I crazy?
Yeah, I think you're not reading your
Okay,
ledger lines.
my bad, sorry, never mind.
Okay, good, as long as we're
I
straight.
play saxophone.
Okay, I'm suspecting, and just, to give the benefit of the doubt to this anthem, I'm suspecting there might have been another line to this Beethoven quartet, because that's a pretty short excerpt, and I think maybe the Neapolitan. One of these days I'll check that out. I'll get that quartet out and see if I'm right about that. But that is blatantly no Neapolitan there, so.
So what, number of that was it?
It is
266.
Opus 18, number 3, third movement. Do you have the quartets?
I'm gonna look it up,
She's gonna look it up for
but
you.
you can continue.
Let's keep going, folks. Now, we've got, flat major mass of Schubert. Okay, looking for a Neapolitan in, have we got another faulty example here? If we were looking in G minor, it would be an A flat chord. So there it is. Sorry, it's in bar 16. That's good. I'd have been really disappointed if that was messed up. All right, let's see if I can get my bifocals and the shield going together in the same, and I'll try to sight read this view. I'm going to go slowly. Okay, so where's the Neapolitan there? Have we seen it?
There are a bunch of them.
It's what?
There are a bunch of them, aren't there? Am I going crazy? Because it's the B double flat.
It is. We are in A flat, so it's a B double flat. So here we have the B double flat. Top, first measure of the second page.
Well, it shows up in the second measure of the first page too.
Second measure of the first page.
Oh, the fourth measure. That's what I meant, fourth measure.
Okay, you gotta help me.
And fourth measure, not the.
I'm looking at the fourth measure.
It has the B double flat on the and of one.
Yes, but it doesn't have the rest of the chord tones that we need.
Oh, that's not there.
Okay, never mind.
So the first measure of the second page is there. Do we have anything beyond, and that resolves to. I'll keep reading. That's the only Neapolitan, which is in that first bar of page 202. Yes, sir.
I wanna go back to this, cause I just saw this too, so you also have a B double flat in that same measure 4, in the bass, and you have the B double flat, then you have the D flat, and then an F flat on like the ante of 2. I wouldn't really count it as a
Okay, Okay, say that again so I can follow.
So like just in measure 4 on beat 2, you have that B double flat and then you have the D flat.
Yeah.
Because I know the first one is not the part of the chord, but that would be the Neapolitan.
Oh, on the very last
Yeah,
16th
so
note.
it would be very like quick is what I
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you blink and you miss it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The last example for today is another Chopin prelude. This is, and we've got the whole piece here, so I'll play the whole piece for you. What are you looking out for here? We have a piece in B minor.
Yes.
You're looking out for the Neapolitan, very good.
C isn't. Yes, C.
C,
Right?
C major, you're looking for a C major chord. So here we go. Yes.
Measure 14.
It is in measure 14. Does it occur before that? On B1 and 14? What about 12 and 13?
That's what he said. That's what he said. He said
Oh, I'm sorry. It's so hard, so hard to distinguish with, when you're speaking through the mask, but glad you are, because we want to be safe. So do we have a sense?
A what?
Do we have a sense that that is Neapolitan in B minor? I think this placement is a little bit interesting here, because it feels like starting on the top of page 203. This is B minor. There it is, but what kind of sets that, interestingly, is the chord ahead of it, which it almost seems like a new layer, and where the Neapolitan would be 4 in a G major layer. Make sense? Yes.
Yeah, but I feel like that F natural in the lower part kind of like sets the stage for it, doesn't it? So how does that make sense in G major?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the very last F natural of the bar?
Yeah. Oh, it's just for like tension. Okay.
It just turns it into a dominant 7th instead.
Okay.
It's 1, remember, 1 can also serve as the 5 of 4 in a key, It just turns 1 into the 5/4. So it is a Neapolitan 6 at this point. But we might also say, hey folks, you could have done a little bit better on your example there. It's literally, well, it is literally the chord we want for Neapolitan 6. But is it the inversion that we want? It is by the time we get to bar 14. So it sort of goes from being 4 in a G major layer to the Neapolitan 6 and resolving to 5 back to the dominant in B minor. Do you see how that happened?
Can you play that whole section?
I surely will. Let's go from the top of 203. So your ear can kind of glide with it from being 4 in a little G major layer, because that F natural really does set that C major chord up as 4 in G major. But then if you just kind of keep listening to it through a bar. Yes, sir.
So with that, like, kind of key layering with G major, would you analyze like measure 11 as like 5/7 of the Neapolitan, or would you analyze that as like one as like a D?
Well, let's think about that. That's a gold star comment. Thank you. It's a very brilliant comment. Because let's think about it. What would, with what we know about the augmented 6 chord, that it's going to be based, that it's going to have flat 6 on the bottom, and we know that it's going to have sharp 4 on the top, and that it's going to point out to F sharp, which is the dominant of B minor. So if we thought of that as flat 6 in B minor, which is perhaps the best way to think of it, and then we get an F natural. F natural is enharmonically
E sharp.
E sharp. So there it is. But we know that the German 6 can be the 5/7 of the Neapolitan. That is good. Stand and take a bow. That's one of the more enlightened comments I've had in a long time. Excellent. Excellent. So that is just a little, maybe what we call it is a little flat 6 festival. That goes, remember how I told you that as a kid, my way of finding the augmented 6 chord was to find the Neapolitan and then to find its 5/7 and make a few enharmonic adjustments. Good, 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 good. That was great to bring that up. Okay, that is our last example for today. So please go forward, be safe, prudent this weekend. Our numbers are on the rise. In Idaho, we want to try to begin to reduce that tendency or that trend. So please help in whatever way you can. I'm noticing, I'll tell you one thing I noticed, and I didn't call people on it as I walked in the building this morning, but people were not standing 6 feet apart outside. They had masks on. That's good. But people were outside standing much closer than 6 feet. So just be careful, wash your hands, wear your mask, and social distance. Please do it and help us turn this trend around. Okay, my friends, I will see you next Friday, but I'll see you online on Wednesday.
Yeah, we really be.
It's game day.
Really, really, really.
Okay to unplug now.